tarmac, or were you led there, or did you just flee?
We fled. We were all running. The TSA was running. Every single one in our terminal was just running. We ran down, out a door, downstairs, onto the tarmac. We were running out on the tarmac, underneath airplanes. We were just fleeing. We would stop and say, where do we go? And they just said, just keep running, just keep running. We didn't know where to go, so we just kept running, and we ended up in another terminal, and we were just asking questions on what to do, and we're just in a panic.
Well, I was surprised that all the TSA guys were running in front of us. They weren't like, helping holding any cover for us or nothing that I saw anyway. They were running in front of us, and I would think they would be there to kind of protect us. But I'm not sure if all the TSA agents are armed or not, but I would think that they would be. It was like,
it was like a movie. This is not real.
The stops had already taken place past the TSA checkpoint? Before
TSA checkpoint, downstairs at check-in at the gate.
Got it. Shepard, you're on speaker on the cell phone. Have you got anything for these guys?
I'm just wondering to what degree of certainty are they that this man had breached the security checkpoint?
Well, no, we never said that man breached security. What I'm saying is there was gunshots that were on the floor below us before security. We were in the line of security, but everybody that was in the line waiting to go through TSA security, we stormed through
the X-ray machine
TSA security, and then we went out on the tarmac. So
everyone was gone. It was an empty building.
The shots were behind you, behind the TSA checkpoint.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. But the thing is, all those people that haven't been screened have breached TSA security, and who knows who's in that line.
And let me ask you guys, when they cleared the terminal, where did they put you?
We actually ended up ducking into Terminal 2 because everybody just kept running. Just keep running. And so we finally ran out of gas. We ducked in and talked to the bag workers. They said, come into Terminal 2, and you guys are here. We ducked to Terminal 2, and
we just watched it through the window, and we saw the police cars chasing down the runway. I'm turned upside down right now. My stomach is not.
Your eyes.
I feel like this is a nightmare. I'm shaking like a leaf. Most of the time we travel with our 4 children, and thankfully they're not with us today because that would have been a whole nother story. Our in-laws are actually flying today, and we don't know where they're at right now. And my father-in-law has heart cancer. We're very concerned.
Pardon the interruption. I do want you to let our viewers know the president has been informed, and Jay Carney is speaking about this at the White House now. Listen.
The U.S. talking to any countries, Germany in particular is one country we know he's reaching out to tell them what the U.S.
And now they have left this subject, but just moments ago I can tell you what was said. This is from our correspondents who are in the White House briefing right now. The question to Carney was any sense of what happened, and the answer was the president has been briefed on the incident by the Deputy Chief of Staff and will regularly be updated. LAPD is the lead. We're in touch with federal law enforcement agents on the ground. In fact, I've had a little bit, LAPD is leading the response and the investigation, and of course when I did that, it just powered through. We also have an eyewitness account that comes to us from the Los Angeles Times of a witness who was on the ground and saw much of this. This person's name is Adamick, that's the last name, Brian Adamick, who's a 43-year-old, said he was getting ready to fly to Chicago for his brother's wedding and was boarding a Spirit Airlines flight at gate 32. So the 30s gates are all right there together. We saw 36 when around the spot where the shotgun or the rifle, whatever it turns out to be, was on the ground. This witness was at 43. Imagine a rounded area, circular area with gates all around this circle. So 43 and 46 close to each other. And he said he was getting ready to fly to Chicago for his brother's wedding. He said people were running through the terminal away from the security area. He said that he went through an emergency exit downstairs onto the tarmac with several passengers, and we now know hundreds of people have done that. Quoting, while I was on the tarmac, I heard 2 gunshots from the same area where the people had been running and screaming, he said. A few minutes after he got outside, he said buses showed to help evacuate passengers, and he saw the wounded TSA agent about whom we've been speaking board one of the planes. The man's ankle was bloody, he said. Quoting, it looked like it was straight out of the movies. The man told him, this is the TSA agent, told him, I got shot, I'm fine. He told passengers not to worry about him and that he had been shot before. So that's our first information with condition of the TSA agent. From this eyewitness account, the TSA agent was shot in lower extremities and told the other passengers, at least, that he was fine. One quick update before I get to the guest. I've gotten word now that there are dozens and dozens and dozens of planes that are loaded with people who cannot take off right now. They've been held on those airplanes, just as our guest was a short time ago who called us from the plane. They're bringing buses in to try to take them off those planes, but in the meantime, they're having to keep them on the plane because they don't have anywhere else to put them. Nick Pugh is on the line with us, a witness who says he was right there in the mezzanine and somebody was shooting on the escalator. Nick, what'd you see?
Yeah, I was standing right there on the upper mezzanine, and the guy, somebody, I didn't see him, but he shot probably 10 times, and it sounded like an assault rifle or a shotgun. It was pretty loud. And then I escaped out. I'm actually doing an interview right now, I guess. So I escaped out the back emergency exit onto the tarmac and ran away, and I was probably one of the first people out. And then the cops put me down on the ground and
put you down on the ground.
Yeah, and then basically they probably thought I was a shooter or something like that.
So what you're saying is that the authorities took you to the ground.
Yeah.
That must have been a hell of a thing for you. What are you thinking at that moment?
I'm being. Okay, I'm on. There's a camera here. I don't know if you want me to interview.
I don't know which. There are a lot of Fox stations out there. I don't know if that's the national station, but stay with us if you would, please. One more question. When you were down on the ground, what did authorities say to you?
They basically just wanted to make sure that I wasn't a shooter, I think, because they handcuffed me and put me down and said, don't move. And I laid there for like 10 minutes while they all rushed past. And so a few other guys or folks came out of the same exit. And I was really close to where the guy was shooting, and everybody tried to run toward the security, and then couldn't go back down the escalator because he was shooting.
Okay, we have you on camera now. Turn to the camera. Turn to the camera if you would, and we'll be able to talk to you there.
Okay.
So at that point, they were just trying to figure out if you were the shooter.
I think that's what. Absolutely, no. I think they thought whatever. They didn't think it. But
the man in front of you is William Lajeunesse.
Sure.
Nick, talk to the man in front of you with the curly hair, William Lajeunesse. William, go for it.
Can I put the phone down?
Okay. William, go ahead.
Okay.
Keep the phone.
Okay, I'll keep the phone. Okay.
If you can hear Shepard, can they hear him too?
William, go.
Okay.
It's all you.
We're hot. You're hot.
Okay.
So he's talking to you.
Okay.
You can put the phone down, sir. Tell me now, what you're down on the ground,
Okay.
they think it's you. They think you might be the shooter, but
So,
at some point they realize that's not the case.
Let me ask you, you heard the shots? Did you see anybody?
I didn't actually see the shooter, but I could see either flashing or smoke or something because we were right above on like an overhead mezzanine, and he was down in the lower level where the baggage check-in would have been and right where the escalators were. I had just walked past that within 2 minutes, and I had just got in the main TSA security line, and then he started shooting.
So he came up to the second level?
No, he was just on the lower level, but you knew he was right at the base of the escalator, and there was nowhere to go, so there was an emergency exit there, and then that's where I went out, and everyone else mostly I think ran into where the TSA was, and just I don't know what happened, but I just thought we're going to get caught pinned between the TSA and the shooter, and I was out on the tarmac.
I got it. And did a lot of other people go there as well?
You know, I think a few other people did, but not a whole flood at first. And then I saw them when I was laying on the tarmac. I saw all the other people coming out the main terminal area where all the planes were.
Right.
Out on.
So there's no security breach per se. The shooting took place on the other side of it.
Correct.
And in fact, it happened on the lower level.
Correct.
Not level 2.
Correct.
Correct. Baggage claim rather than.
Yes,
okay,
it was not on the upper level, and it did not. The shooter was not on the inside of security. He was on this area here.
How many shots did you hear?
8 or 10.
I see. And then did you hear any return fire from the cops?
No, not that I could hear of. Not right away. I mean, I was out of there pretty quick, so
I got it.
I just basically ran. I just thought if there's a bomb or something else going to go off, or if there's more shooters, I just wanted to get out.
And so what were you feeling?
Well, I mean, I was scared. Adrenaline, I don't know, just run like hell.
And I'm told that some people just went right through TSA security, meaning, they're not going to wait. They're not going to get caught in between, so they just blew past them.
You know what? I guess if I had been a little further down in the line, I would have probably done the same thing. I just happened to be by this emergency exit, so that's why
And then when you guys got done, where did they put you? Because you're now just being let out.
I was probably in a different place than everybody else because I ran all the way from Terminal 3 down to Terminal 2, and I was laying on the ground underneath Terminal 2, and then the cops said, get in a secure area, and they got everybody off the runway and put us all in Terminal 2, so I ended up in Terminal 2, and now I'm being brought out with everybody from those. Nick.
All right, Nick, thanks so much. Where were you on your way to?
New York City. See my brother run the marathon.
It's going to be a while.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Listen, we'll send it back to you, Shepard. We're all done out here. We're going to see if we can get a few more people.
William, thanks.
So much.
We've been watching the live pictures from above with person after person carrying his or her bags, and I'm guessing trying to figure out, okay, where do we go now? It's my understanding that some of these people would be folks who were at LAX for a transfer. You fly into LAX and you transfer to another plane to get somewhere else, LA being a connection spot for a lot of people. So I don't know where those people would go, but they say they're going to take care of everybody's needs as well as they can. This is an area where they've staged ambulances just outside. And we've just gotten a tweet from the Los Angeles Times. This is the most specificity we've had thus far about the shooter himself. The shooter was a young white male with a rifle-type gun walking calmly through Terminal 3. We've gotten reports from people inside Terminal 2 who said they saw a shooter. That we've checked that man out. His story was credible. The question is whether he was correct about which terminal he was in. We believe that was Terminal 3 all the while. So waiting for more information from the authorities there, but it sounds as if the best news is the threat is over. Los Angeles police spokesman had, this is from 1 second ago, saying there were multiple victims in the airport incident. We've confirmed, well, we'll get to what we've confirmed as stations along the way join us in just a moment. This happened, of course, at 9:30 local time in Los Angeles, and we're still waiting for the first on-camera police spokesman or fire spokesman to come and give us a status update. It is a very, very large. All the information from one place to another would be a very tall task indeed. It's 2 o'clock on the East Coast, 11 a.m. on the West Coast. I'm Shepard Smith in New York, and this is continuing coverage from the Fox News deck of breaking news out of Los Angeles. The Real Story with Gretchen Carlson will be with you shortly after our breaking news coverage continues. First, we know that at 9:30 this morning, a gunman is said to have walked into Terminal 3 at Los Angeles International Airport, brandishing what authorities say was some sort of rifle or shotgun. We believe now rifle would be the better choice of description. That fired off a number of shots. Some witnesses say 8 to 10. Others have said as many as 30. But we're hearing 8 to 10 from a number of sources. So for now, at least, we think that may be the best number. We know that 3 people are injured. We know that 1 TSA agent has been shot. The TSA agent is said to have spoken with passengers who are working to get on a bus at LAX, seemed to be shot in the lower part of his leg, said that he had been shot before, that he was going to be fine, that no one should worry about him. This is Terminal 3 at LAX, at which you're looking now. You can see the gate numbers down there. See number 36 on the far right there, the lower right of the map. That's where we saw a picture of this rifle and shell casings and what was described to us by witnesses there as blood on the ground. Authorities taking pictures of that area. All of this circular area at Terminal 3 is now closed down, and if it's not completely evacuated at this moment, they're in the process of evacuating it. The security checkpoint, as you can see, is down that long corridor. Gate 30 is in the middle at the top of your screen, and then the security checkpoint. And it's our understanding, as far as we can tell, we have differing reports from eyewitnesses about where exactly this shooter was. That doesn't surprise me. Some are saying that the shooter was confined to the area where the screening would take place. Others have said that the shooter got past the security screening area. We don't yet know. But we know the TSA agent is shot. We know that the gunman was shot, taken into custody out on the tarmac, put in cuffs and taken away, and that a third person has been described to us by authorities as being down. We presume that person means shot. We don't know. Could be injured in some other way. But you can see that there is some ground traffic now at LAX. There were early reports of an all-ground stop, though we now have been told by the FAA that that is not the case. We know no flights are taking off, at very minimum, from Terminals 2 and 3, but at last report, no flights taking off from anywhere at LAX. All flights headed to LAX from any airport in America have now been stopped. And what we're seeing now is planes lined up to do something, whether they're going to be allowed to take off or whether they're going to be taxiing in to drop off passengers who can be put on buses. We don't have a way to know yet. The airport has not updated us on the situation there. We have a number of correspondents on the ground and we're getting a lot of tweets in here. Let's get first to Adam Housley, who's live at the airport right now. Adam, what do you have?
Yeah, Shepard, we're standing right next to Terminal 2. You mentioned the air traffic. It has continued, though, very slow. A plane here taking off, a plane there landing. That's about it. Nothing normal for LAX. I want to get right to these two witnesses. Audrey and Mark Henry, you both were down here from Paso Robles, about a 3-hour drive down. You're getting ready to go through security in Terminal 3, which if you don't know, if you haven't been here before, that's upstairs. Downstairs is where people arrive. And as you're going through security, Mark, what happened?
Well, we were just putting our belongings onto the belt to be screened, and we just heard like 8 shots just ring out, bang, 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 and we all hit the deck, and for about, I don't know, 15 seconds we were all down, and then all of a sudden everybody just started running through TSA down into the gates, the terminal there, and TSA was running with us, and they just said keep running, and as we were running there was probably another 15 to 20 shots that we heard behind us, and we just kept running. We got out of the terminal building, down onto the tarmac, and we ran over towards Terminal 2, just out underneath planes. And so all the people that were in line to be screened, we stormed through the